I'm the handkerchief that wiped the tears of Mahatma Gandhi, leader of Indian independence. I was born under the patient hands of a village weaver in Gujarat in the year 1929. The gentle rhythm of her spinning wheel was my first lullaby, as cotton fibers danced through her weathered fingers, becoming the very fabric of my being. She whispered prayers as she wove me, thread by thread, on a simple hand loom that had served 3 generations of her family. The weaver was careful, methodical. Each fiber she selected carried the warmth of Indian soil, the memory of monsoon, rains, and the hope of independence. I felt her dedication in every stitch, her belief that even the smallest things could carry great purpose. "You shall serve someone important," she murmured one evening, holding me up to catch the last rays of sunlight streaming through her window. In those days, the British Raj cast its shadow across our land like a heavy blanket, suffocating the spirit of millions. The villagers spoke in hushed tones of a small man with a large spirit, someone who spun his own cloth and believed that freedom could be achieved through peaceful resistance. They called him Mahatma, the great soul. I was plain, undyed, simple, unremarkable, just white cotton threads woven together with love and hope. The weaver folded me carefully and placed me in a wooden chest, waiting for the right moment to gift me to someone worthy. Little did I know that my destiny was already approaching, walking barefoot along dusty roads, preparing to challenge an empire with nothing but truth and non-violence. As weeks passed, the talk in the village grew more intense. The man they spoke of was coming to Gujarat. He was planning something unprecedented, a march to the sea, they said, to make salt and break an unjust law. The weaver's eyes sparkled with anticipation. She knew somehow that I was meant to be part of this historic moment. March the 2nd, 1930. The day my life changed forever began with the sound of spinning wheels and voices raised in prayer. The weaver had packed me carefully in her basket, alongside offerings of food and flowers. We walked to Sabarmati Ashram, where hundreds had gathered to bid farewell to a man who would lead them on a 240-mile march to the Arabian Sea. I felt the electric energy in the air as we approached the ashram. People from all walks of life had come. Farmers with calloused hands, students with bright eyes, mothers carrying babies, and elderly men leaning on walking sticks, all united by a common dream of freedom. Then I saw him. Mahatma Gandhi was smaller than I had imagined, his slight frame draped in homespun white khadi. His rimless glasses caught the morning light as he spoke to the gathering, his voice carrying an authority that came not from power, but from profound conviction. When the weaver approached him with her offerings, I felt a mixture of nervousness and anticipation ripple through my fibers. Gandhi's hands, when they finally touched me, were unlike any I had known. They were gentle, yet firm, weathered from years of spinning and writing, yet tender with compassion. As he examined me, I sensed his appreciation for the craftsmanship, for the hands that had created me with such care. "This is beautiful work," he said softly to the weaver, who bowed with tears of joy. He tucked me into his small bag, along with his few possessions, his spectacles case, a few books, and another change of clothes. I was now part of Gandhi's journey, carried by the man who would make salt from seawater, and in doing so, shake the foundations of the British Empire. As we began the march from Sabarmati Ashram, I felt the weight of history settling upon us. Each step Gandhi took seemed to echo with purpose, each footfall a drumbeat calling India to awakening. The crowd followed, growing larger with each village we passed through, their chants of Swaraj, self-rule, creating a symphony of hope that seemed to lift my very fabric. The march was unlike anything the world had ever seen. For 24 days, we walked through the heart of Gujarat, from village to village, carrying a message of non-violent resistance that would echo through history. I absorbed every moment, the dust of country roads, the prayers offered at dawn, the songs sung under starlit skies. Each morning, Gandhi would reach for me to wipe the sweat from his brow as he performed his morning prayers. I felt the weight of his dedication, the pain in his aging body that he bore without complaint. Sometimes when the crowds were too large or the emotions too overwhelming, he would pull me out to dry the tears that compassion brought to his eyes. I witnessed countless scenes that painted the true picture of our land. In Ras, we encountered salt works where workers toiled under the scorching sun, their labor enriching foreign coffers while their own families struggled. In Sojitra, thousands gathered to hear Gandhi speak about dignity and self-reliance. In Wasna, I felt his exhaustion as he wrote by lamplight, documenting our journey for the world to read. The British authorities watched nervously as our movement grew. Each dawn brought more followers. Each village added its voice to our cause. I absorbed the salt-tinged air as we moved closer to the coast, feeling the anticipation build like a storm gathering strength. On April 5, 1930, we finally reached Dandi Beach. The Arabian Sea stretched endlessly before us, its waves whispering secrets of freedom. Gandhi stood at the water's edge, and I felt his hands tremble slightly, not with fear, but with the magnitude of what was about to happen. He knelt, picked up a handful of salt-crusted sand, and in that simple act declared that the British monopoly on salt was over. The crowd erupted in celebration. As tears of joy and triumph flowed, I was there to catch them all. In that moment, as Gandhi held the illegal salt aloft, I realized I had become more than just a piece of cloth. I had become a witness to the power of peaceful resistance, a silent participant in the birth of a nation's freedom. The aftermath of Dandi was swift and profound. News of Gandhi's salt-making spread across India like wildfire, igniting acts of civil disobedience from Bombay to Calcutta. I remained with Gandhi through his arrest, his imprisonment, and the negotiations that followed. Throughout it all, I absorbed his tears of sorrow for his people, his sweat from long hours of meditation, and occasionally his tears of joy when progress was made toward independence. Years passed, and I witnessed the gradual transformation of a movement into a reality. I was there in 1947 when India finally achieved independence, though the joy was bittersweet due to partition. I felt Gandhi's tears of both celebration and grief as he struggled to maintain unity among his people. On that fateful evening of January 30th, 1948, I performed my final act of service. As Gandhi lay on the ground at Birla House in New Delhi, 3 bullets having found their mark, I pressed against his wounds, absorbing the blood of the man who had given his life for non-violence. His last words, "Hey Ram, oh God," seemed to resonate through my very threads. Now, decades later, I rest in a museum, carefully preserved behind glass. Visitors from around the world come to see me, this simple handkerchief that witnessed one of history's greatest movements. Children press their faces against the glass, and I wish I could tell them what I learned during those transformative years. I learned that the smallest acts of defiance can topple empires. That truth, spoken with conviction, is more powerful than any weapon. That one person's commitment to peace can inspire millions to believe in the possibility of change. Every thread in my weave carries the memory of that march, the salt spray of Dandi Beach, and the tears of a great soul. I may be just a simple piece of cloth, but I am proof that ordinary things can be part of extraordinary moments. In my silence, I continue to speak of courage, of the power of non-violence, and of the enduring truth that freedom is not given. It is earned through the patient, persistent pursuit of justice. As you leave this museum today, remember this: you too can be part of something greater than yourself. Like that village weaver who created me with love and hope, your simple acts of faith and courage can weave themselves into the fabric of history. The march for freedom, dignity, and truth continues, and it needs every thread, every voice, every heart willing to carry it forward. The handkerchief that wiped Gandhi's tears remains a symbol of peaceful resistance, reminding us that the most powerful revolutions begin not with violence, but with the courage to stand for what is right. One step at a time,